Alright, so here we are getting started on our next computer art project, which is one I like to call Mini-Me. And so you are going to need to start with 5 separate pictures. Yes, that's right, 5 separate pictures of yourself in order to get this project started. What we're going to do is turn each one of these poses or expressions into silhouettes. Right now they overlap a little bit, but that should not be a problem going ahead. So you're going to need to pair up with somebody and have somebody be a photographer for you. Take a picture in front of a background that preferably has, mostly white or one basic kind of flat area of color. I might have a little bit of a tricky issue separating the shadow away. If you can avoid, shadows like that, it's going to be a little bit trickier for me to get around all of my body parts to make a silhouette from this shape. But I'll give it a go anyways. And so basically I just opened up 5 images, I cropped them, and then copied and pasted them into this one file. And this file we should set up the usual file size that we've been going with of oops, well, we want to start new, but I'll show you here if I go to image and resize, where you can usually change your image size, it shows you that I've set it up as 10 width, 8 height, and a resolution of 150 for this image. Okay. You may notice initially when I brought these in, they're a little blurry. It's because the pictures were taken from the dot camera on my computer. If you take pictures off your iPad too, they will be a little grainy, but that's really okay as long as you can see everything, all the details, the little parts of your figure. We should be able to accomplish our project here. So I'm going to start with just one of these images. So I'm going to hide away most of them. Let's see, and I suppose this is the one I'll start with. Actually, I think I would like to start with this one over here. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit and just kind of maybe stretch out my workspace a little so that, let's click back here, so that I have some space to work with. I'm just going to move that out of the way. Alright, so we want to, let's get this kind of in the middle of our screen here. And I can take him and move him back later. But essentially, tools that we do kind of know already. We have our Magic Wand tool. What we might want to do with Magic Wand is turn the tolerance down to maybe, let's say, 10, 12 is a pretty good area to make sure that it doesn't select colors that are too far off from where we click. When the tolerance is higher, that means it's going to select a lot of similar colors. And this gray in the background is pretty similar to my shirt, so I don't want it to confuse that. The other thing you want to click on is the Add to Selection option. You also have Subtract to Selection and then the overlapping selection. We're going to use this Add to Selection option so that I can just keep clicking my magic wand and getting closer and closer to my selection here. And I'm just going to keep clicking. And you can click right inside of selections too. And I'm going to kind of work my way around and try and select as much of this as possible. You might find that you go into areas, this is a tricky spot right here. So what I'm going to do is actually switch to my quick selection tool, alright, and make it my selection brush tool. Actually, that's the one I want. And I want to actually subtract from selection because I want this little area to kind of come back in. I do not want to delete that part. I want to keep everything that is me and get rid of everything that is this background. So what I can also do right now is I will go back to adding to the selection, and I'm going to go ahead and brush in all this area here. And this is going to add all this to the selection. Just going to go right around the back, right to the head, and around. I may want to zoom in a little bit closer to make sure I get these selections pretty close. So I'm going to go ahead and take that brush back again And just kind of brush right along this edge, just kind of clicking to get my selections where I want them. I'm going to get rid of all these little spots. I don't want that. Looks like I need to make my back go a little bit smoother. And again, kind of taking all these areas. I want to make sure that all of this gets erased. So I'm going ahead and taking care of all these areas. And here, I'll take care of this. And then make sure all this gray in the background goes away. Smooth out this little part of the pants. And a bunch of areas that are hanging out down around the bottom that I want to take away as well. So, just continuing to go around. I'm going to take out all this stuff I don't want. So, this selection brush does come in handy for things like this. Alright, so I think that should be pretty good. I'm going to zoom back out a little bit. And it looks like I will want to still get rid of this area in here. So I'm going to go back to my magic wand, make sure that add to selection is clicked. I'm going to try and click right in there, and it looks like I got it. So what I am going to do is go ahead and delete everything here. And ideally I am left with just myself. And so I will unselect this. Looks like I do have some stray bits which I want to take care of, so I'm going to take my eraser tool and kind of erase these stray bits that are around. And in order to get a selection of just this area, well, here I might zoom in actually a little bit. I think I want to take care of a little bit of this kind of piece here by the hand and the neck, and maybe just smooth up this edge around the head a little bit too. So use your eraser tool to get into those kind of small areas that you can't quite get. I'm going to go back to my eraser, actually make it a little bit smaller, because I just spotted a few of these little spots in here that I want to get rid of. Alright, so that is pretty good. So, I'll zoom out, take another look. Looks like it's a-okay. Got a little space in there, but I don't mind that. I think it should be alright. So what I'm going to do is command click on this layer, and that will give me a selection area of that entire layer. When I command and click, or window and click on the image thumbnail, and that gives you a selection right here. What then I'll go and do is I will select my foreground color. I'm going to switch these back around so the background is white. So I'm going to click on my fill color that I would like to fill this with. I'm going to start with maybe blue, and we'll start with a blue man, and take our fill bucket, and I am going to go ahead. Oh, could not use the paint bucket because no layers are selected. Well, that would be an issue, wouldn't it? What I'm going to do actually is create a new layer right above this layer. So it's a new layer right here. I'm going to go ahead and fill in that layer blue. So you'll see I have an image here below. This is the image. I can now turn that off. That is all good. And I am left with blue silhouette number 1. Okay, so looking back at that, that looks pretty good. Alright, and I will go ahead and repeat the process for the next, and maybe I'll take this one. And so again, use your magic wand, your selection brush. Remember that you have options to add or subtract from selections here, and then go ahead and control click when you're done to get that selection, make a new layer, and paint in a silhouette. So I will continue this, this demo in another tutorial video that I will start after this.